Alright, you're getting out fishing, you just want to get started, you want to not have to buy other junk. Well, first, you're going to want a tack box. Now, this is the Micro Magnum, it's from Plano. First, and this is one I will die by, is this little Panther Martin brown trout lure. This is the smallest size you can find. The next one, and you do not need the brand name for this, is a Castmaster 12th ounce gold spoon power bait. Alright, there is power bait. And there is Mike's Floating Glow Bait. This is $1. This one doesn't have a price tag on it. This one right here is $5. Yeah, really, you're just paying more so for the name and then the colors. Don't care. Don't care. This has sparkles. This is pink. This is gonna get the job done. For the dough bait, you'll also need a bobber. There is a certain kind of hook that you need for this. We'll be talking about that kind of hook and how you use it when we are down at the river fishing. So, with that being said, here's all the stuff we're going to be using today. Let's go ahead, let's get to fishing. Now, I talked about at the very beginning of the video a kind of a secret hook. I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about and how we use it with the trout dough bait. Alright, so how we're going to fish this is we have a little bobber right here. This bobber goes straight to a swivel. This swivel goes straight to what's called a snell knot, which is already a pre-tied rig. Goes all the way down to the little dough hook. Again, it's that, remember that little coil that we got wrapped around the small treble. And all we're going to do is, if you look behind you, we've got a small hole right there. Now what you're going to do with this kind of rig is you're going to cast down, drift through, and drift and drift and drift, and then just recast. You're just going to repeat that and then allow it to just drift by. You're just wanting to pass by, and then you're watching the bobber the entire time. It's a really easy way to fish. You can go bing 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 and you know it's a fish. Otherwise, you just cast, rinse, repeat. Ironic when standing in water right now. Like that, it's a fish. All you gotta do is wait for them to get their mouth on it, and you want to try with bobbers, keep as much slack out of the line as possible. In this case, we're doing really well. The line's taut, and that's what you want. Otherwise, if there's slack in the line, it becomes 10 million times harder to actually set the hook. Alright, so this is a little Castmaster. It shows you guys a really easy way to throw this. You just simply pitch it downstream, and then you bring it right back up. Alright, well, we got one. Jump right into the kitchen, show you guys how you can cook up this cutthroat really, really easy and delicious. Alright guys, so here's how I like to clean my trout. Normally they got a slimy film on it. To get rid of that, I just like to go ahead and just dab it off and just dry it off. So when we put the butter on there, the butter, the seasoning, all that sticks and it gets nice and crispy, especially the fins. It's just like chips. So we're gonna go ahead and clean this body off. We're gonna go ahead and season it up and we're gonna go ahead and fry it. Alright, so really simple. We've got cayenne pepper, garlic powder, and then the thing to get it to stick together and make it taste real good, butter. Really simple. You just take a spoon. So the cavity of the fish, all you're gonna do, my dog wants some too, is you just simply put the butter inside the fish, and you have to kind of just work it in with your fingers. Just put it in there, fill it. Chili powder, garlic powder, inside and out. Both sides. We're gonna go ahead and just put a little bit on both sides. Again, you don't need to overdo it because the taste of the butter alone is really good. A little bit on both sides, a little bit on the inside, and I like to get a little extra on the fins. Right now what we're doing is we're gonna go ahead and get the oven ready. I'm gonna set it to high. This is a cast iron, and when you're cooking fish or trout, you do need to get it almost smoking hot to the point where the oil is going to start smoking, so then when you put it on, it gets nice and crisp. We are gonna add some more butter into the pan as well. Same exact butter. This is Imperial, it's cheap. I mean, that's all we get. We get the cheapest butter absolutely possible. And you're just gonna add some of that, maybe like a tablespoon of butter into the pan, let it melt. You don't wanna let the butter get smoking hot. You need to let the pan get smoking hot. Put your fish on there, and I'll talk about how you can tell when the fish is ready as we are cooking it. All right, so we got the pan smoking hot. It's literally smoking. It's actually a little too hot, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn it down to about medium-high, medium, and then we're gonna go ahead and let it cool off just a little bit. I'm gonna take it off just a little bit so it can actually cool off from the heat. We're gonna go ahead and add a couple spoonfuls of butter to this. I don't even know how much that is. And then just let it melt. Okay, you don't want this butter to burn. You just simply want it to melt. And then when this is all melted, that's acting as your oil, because oil doesn't do too well with fish. We're gonna go ahead and let this melt down and actually coat the pan. So this gives it more flavor. Some people like to add seasoning in it. Some people even add like small bits of garlic into it to give it a little more flavor. We're gonna keep this pretty simple. Trout, chili powder, garlic powder, butter on the inside, a little bit of butter on the outside, right into the pan. We're gonna go ahead and let this bad boy melt just a little bit. And then we're gonna go ahead and talk about exactly what you're looking for to know how the trout's doing. It's really, really, really easy. Now, one thing that I think a lot of people miss is skewering the fish. Because oftentimes what happens is when you're cooking a trout, it likes to fold into a U shape. So if you just do some really simple scores on it, it keeps it nice and flat. Because essentially it's the steam, it's the evaporation that's making it want to curl. Score it and score it on both sides, because then that helps from it bending up, and then it helps it cook evenly. So, pan is ready, seasoning's on, butter's inside the cavity. We're gonna go ahead and actually put a little bit more of this butter. I just kind of filled out. It's got some seasoning and some goodness in there. We're gonna go ahead and put it right onto the pan, and you're gonna go ahead and let it cook. Now notice how it's starting to open up. That is how you are going to be able to tell when it is ready. Trout itself is already a white fish. It's kind of similar to halibut, flounder, in that regards. I think rockfish as well. But there's a different kind of shade of white that we're going to be looking for as it starts to open up. So trout are really fast about cooking. No matter how big they are, if they're big, they cook quick because they're just so thin. But one thing I want to show you guys right now, this is kind of why it's important to score all the way down. Just notice how it's kind of folding in. If you score all the way down to where the tail fin is, you don't have that issue. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and flip that. I'm gonna use the tail. I'm gonna flip it over. It doesn't look the best, but hey, we're not looking for looks, we're looking for taste. So, it's really close to done actually. If we spin this around real quick, you can kind of see the inside is turning white. And when you're able to essentially literally peel the bone, or peel the meat off the bones, or just pull it by your finger, that's when you know it's done. All right, so the fish is ready. A really easy way to tell is you just simply look at the meat and cut. The cavity is opened and it just falls apart. There you can just peel it. It just, yeah, falls right off the bone. That's really good actually. That's how you try it. Really good. No, we're trying to caught more. Anyways, that's how you catch and clean, cook trout. All in a budget. You saw if we caught this with that little silver gold cast master spoon, that will be linked in the description below. It's super cheap on Amazon. You can get like a pack of 3 or 4 or 5 of them for dirt cheap. And honestly, the name brand doesn't matter. You can go to Cabela's. You can get for like $2 at Cabela's. It's the Cabela's version or brand of Castmaster, but you still don't need to get the actual Castmaster. So with that being said, if you guys are new to the channel, well, be sure you hit that sub button. We're going to be doing a lot more budget fishing as the summer goes on. Fall comes along, as well as winter. We're going to be doing some kokanee salmon as well later on in the fall. So we'll catch you guys in the next one. Appreciate it for watching, and we'll see ya.